On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Mylène Demongeot died in 2022 at age 87 after a long battle with cancer, a natural end that reflected the resilience and grace she demonstrated throughout her life and career. Her passing marked the quiet close of an era shaped by post-war European cinema, where she rose to prominence as one of France's most recognizable actresses. In a time when the film industry was rapidly evolving from black and white classics to modern digital storytelling, her death reminded audiences of the enduring power of old-world stardom and the artistic legacy crafted by performers who built their fame without the scaffolding of social media or global franchising. The immediate consequences of her passing were felt most deeply in France, where cultural institutions, filmmakers, and longtime fans offered tributes that highlighted her versatility and her longevity. Having starred in comedies, dramas, and international productions, she occupied a rare space in European cinema as both a glamorous icon and a committed craftsperson. Her death prompted renewed interest in her early roles, particularly in the Fantômas series and historical epics, drawing younger audiences back to films that captured the cinematic language of the mid-20th century. Her passing also amplified her legend by bringing attention to her humanitarian work, especially her long advocacy for cancer research and animal welfare. In many ways, the fact that she faced her illness publicly with openness and dignity mirrored the values of an era increasingly concerned with transparency, health, and the human stories behind public figures. It also positioned her legacy not only in film but in social impact, reinforcing her place as a figure who used visibility for causes larger than herself. Historically, Demongeot's death did not shift geopolitical trajectories or cultural revolutions, but it did highlight the quiet influence of artists whose work shapes collective memory over decades. In a world that often prioritizes rapid fame, her passing served as a reminder of the slow, steady burn of careers built through dedication, adaptability, and emotional resonance. Her story reveals much about humanity's relationship with mortality and memory. We honor figures like her through restored film releases, retrospectives, festival tributes, and media essays that reinterpret their contributions for new generations. These acts of remembrance transform loss into cultural continuity. Mylène Demongeot is immortalized, not through grand monuments, but through the enduring presence of her performances, capturing laughter, fear, romance, and strength, ensuring her spirit remains threaded through the history of French cinema. Sandra Day O'Connor died in 2023 at age 93, passing away from complications related to dementia and a respiratory illness, an end that reflected the vulnerabilities of aging even among the most influential public figures. Her death, though natural, carried profound symbolic weight. As the first woman to serve on the United States Supreme Court, her departure marked not just the loss of an individual, but the closing chapter of a historic barrier breaker whose life embodied the evolving expectations of American democracy. In many ways, the nature of her passing underscored the growing national conversation around elder care, cognitive decline, and the dignity of public servants who step back from power as they age. The immediate consequences of her death were significant across political, legal, and cultural spheres. Tributes poured in from every corner of the country, across ideological divides, reflecting her rare ability to command respect from conservatives, moderates, and liberals alike. The legal community revisited her landmark opinions on issues such as gender equality, affirmative action, and states' rights. Law schools, judicial scholars, and major news outlets highlighted her role as the pivotal swing vote during some of the court's most defining cases of the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Her passing prompted renewed debate about the judicial balance she once helped to maintain, especially in an era of increasing polarization. Her death also amplified her legend. O'Connor had already become an icon of American jurisprudence, but her passing elevated her life story into a symbol of perseverance and principled independence. The fact that she emerged from an Arizona ranching childhood to reach the highest court in the nation became a powerful narrative revisited in documentaries, biographies, and public memorials. Her dedication to civic education, particularly through the iCivics program she founded, experienced a surge of attention, demonstrating how influential her legacy had become outside the courtroom. Sandra Day O'Connor's departure reveals humanity's enduring struggle with how we remember figures of great authority, not merely for the power they held, but for the values they articulated. Her memory is preserved through judicial scholarship, educational programs, museum exhibitions, and public tributes that underline her commitment to fairness, pragmatism, and civic responsibility. Ultimately, her death reminds us that while our systems of power evolve, the individuals who shape them live on through the principles they championed, etched into law, memory, and the ongoing pursuit of justice. Shelley Morrison passed away in 2019 at the age of 83. Her death attributed to heart failure, a natural but sobering reminder of the vulnerabilities that accompany aging. Her passing came at a time when conversations about representation, identity, and inclusivity in entertainment were rapidly evolving. Morrison had long been a quiet but powerful symbol of those values, particularly through her portrayal of Rosario Salazar on Will and Grace. In many ways, the circumstances of her death highlighted how the icons of earlier television eras were gradually giving way to a new generation shaped by different cultural priorities, even as the foundations laid by performers like her continued to influence the landscape. The immediate response to her passing was marked by genuine affection across the industry. Co-stars, producers, and fans shared a wave of tributes that underscored not only her comedic precision, but also the warmth and dignity she brought to her work. In an era when social media shapes public mourning, Morrison's death reflected a broader cultural impulse to celebrate artists who advanced nuanced portrayals of marginalized identities, even subtly, and even in roles initially designed as comedic side characters. Her legacy, amplified by this digital chorus, became a testament to how small but resonant representations can endure across generations. Her passing did not shift global history, but it did shift the emotional landscape of those who understood her impact. For many viewers, Rosario was more than a role. She was one of the earliest Latina characters on mainstream American television who was neither caricatured nor sidelined. Morrison's death, therefore, offered a moment of collective reflection on how far the industry had come and how much of that progress rested on the shoulders of actors who worked quietly and persistently, often without the recognition they deserved. In the broader contemplation of mortality, Morrison's story reveals how individuals can become immortal not through dramatic exits, but through the lasting emotional resonance of their craft. Humanity remembers figures like her through reruns that outlive their actors, through interviews preserved online, and through the heartfelt tributes of colleagues who witnessed their dedication firsthand. Art becomes the vessel through which memory persists, granting performers like Morrison a form of eternity, one defined not by the circumstances of their death, but by the joy, empathy, and humanity they brought to millions. Ken Berry passed away in 2018 at the age of 85. His death attributed to natural causes after a long and respected life in the entertainment industry. The quiet nature of his passing reflected a broader truth about the era he came from, one rooted in gentler forms of comedy, warm-hearted storytelling, and television crafted not for shock value, but for comfort. At a time when entertainment increasingly leaned toward fast-paced, boundary-pushing content, Berry's death served as a reminder of a fading television landscape built on sincerity, physical humor, and family-friendly narratives. Berry's passing immediately prompted a wave of tributes from co-stars, fans, and networks. Many reflected on how his roles in F Troop, Mayberry, F.D., and Mama's Family shaped the comedic voice of mid-20th century American television. He embodied a kind of on-screen kindness, an earnest, affable presence that resonated deeply with audiences during years marked by political tension and cultural transformation. The warmth of his characters offered reassurance during turbulent decades, and his ability to anchor lighthearted shows made him a familiar, comforting figure in households across the country. Though Berry's death did not alter historical trajectories, it did amplify his legacy. For many viewers, his passing ignited renewed interest in the shows that defined his career, reminding a modern audience of the enduring appeal of sitcoms built around community, simple joys, and relatable humor. His work became a touchstone for discussions about how comedy once functioned as a unifying cultural force, bringing families together before the era of fragmented streaming and personalized media consumption. Reflecting on Berry's life and death reveals much about humanity's relationship with memory and mortality. We immortalize figures like him not through grand monuments, but through the laughter they leave behind. Reruns that continue decades after their final episodes, interviews preserved online, and nostalgic conversations shared between generations. His legacy underscores how artists can wield quiet power, the power to comfort, to uplift, and to create worlds that feel safe in times of uncertainty. In remembering Berry, we see how art becomes a bridge between eras, allowing performers who shaped yesterday's culture to live on in today's imagination. His passing reminds us that gentleness too can be historic and deeply enduring. Claude Jade passed away in 2006 at the age of 58. Her death, the result of cancer, a battle fought quietly and with the same dignity that marked her career. Her passing reflected a broader truth about the era she helped define, a period in European cinema when subtlety, emotional nuance, and intimacy on screen were celebrated more than spectacle. As a central figure in the French New Wave's later years, her life and death symbolized the enduring fragility behind the glamour of international film. When news of her death reached the public, the immediate consequence was a wave of tributes from filmmakers, critics, and audiences who had grown up with her work. Many pointed to her collaborations with François Truffaut, particularly her portrayal of Christine Darbon in the Antoine Doinel series, as essential to understanding the movement's tender, character-driven storytelling. Her passing prompted renewed discussion about the evolution of French cinema, reminding audiences of a time when film sought to capture the truth of ordinary lives rather than rely on digital flourish or massive budgets. Her death also deepened the legacy she had built. Though never the most flamboyant or widely publicized actress of her generation, Jade embodied a quiet authenticity. The loss of someone who represented the understated emotional intelligence of 1960s and 1970s European film only amplified the importance of her contributions. Younger cinephiles revisited her work, recognizing how her performances helped preserve the humanity of the new wave as it transitioned into later decades. Reflecting on Jade's passing invites a broader consideration of how society engages with mortality and memory. Figures like her are immortalized not through grand monuments, but through the lasting emotional resonance of the art they leave behind. Every rewatching of a Truffaut film becomes a form of commemoration. Every academic essay examining the new wave keeps her influence alive. In this sense, her death illuminates a universal truth. While lives are finite, the emotional impact of art can outlast generations. Claude Jade's departure reminds us that cultural memory is built on the stories and feelings artists imprint upon the world. Her performances continue to echo across time, reaffirming art's power to shape history, connect eras, and carry the essence of a life far beyond its final chapter. Gaylord Perry died in 2022 at the age of 84, passing from natural causes after decades of being celebrated as one of baseball's most inventive and influential pitchers. His death reflected an era in American sports defined by both ingenuity and controversy, periods when athletes pushed boundaries, embraced spectacle, and became cultural icons beyond the field. Perry embodied that duality perfectly. Known for his mastery of the spitball and psychological gamesmanship, he played at a time when baseball was grappling with the balance between tradition, regulation, and showmanship. The immediate reaction to his passing was one of recognition and reflection. Former teammates, sports writers, and fans flooded social platforms and stadium memorials with tributes. Many noted his status as a pioneer, the first pitcher to win the Cy Young Award in both the American and National Leagues. His legacy had always been intertwined with the mythology of baseball's gray areas, not outright rule-breaking, but the strategic dance between what was allowed, what was suspected, and what could never quite be proven. His death reignited debates about sportsmanship, innovation, and how legends are shaped not only by skill, but by the stories built around them. Perry's passing also prompted a reevaluation of the era he represented. Baseball in the 1960s and 1970s was shifting toward televised spectacle, expanding audiences, and increasing scrutiny of players' methods. His persona, part cowboy, part trickster, fit neatly into this moment, making him a living narrative as much as an athlete. That narrative only grew stronger after his death, as fans revisited his career with a nostalgic eye, recognizing how his charisma and competitive edge helped define modern pitching psychology. More broadly, reflecting on Perry's death sheds light on how society preserves the memory of its sports heroes. We immortalize figures like him through Hall of Fame inductions, statistical records, documentaries, and the countless stories shared across generations. Baseball, perhaps more than any other American sport, thrives on its mythology, and Perry's life, full of grit, humor, and competitive brilliance, fits squarely within that tradition. His departure reminds us that while athletic achievements fade from immediate memory, legends endure through the stories we tell. Gaylord Perry's legacy remains alive each time a fan debates the art of pitching, marvels at a deceptive curveball, or recalls the colorful characters who shaped America's pastime. Jack Colvin died in 2005 at the age of 71, passing from complications related to strokes that had affected him in the later years of his life. His death was a natural one, marking the quiet end of a career built on intensity, precision, and a deep commitment to the craft of acting. Colvin belonged to an era when television was rapidly evolving, shifting from formulaic episodes to character-driven storytelling. His most iconic role, the relentless reporter Jack McGee in The Incredible Hulk, represented a time when TV heroes and antagonists were becoming psychologically complex, rather than merely good or evil. The immediate response to his passing centered on admiration for his technical skill and theatrical discipline. Colvin had been deeply rooted in stage work, training under renowned mentors, and later becoming an influential acting teacher himself. When news of his death spread, colleagues from film, television, and theater reflected on how his artistry shaped a generation of performers. Though not a household name in the way his co-stars were, Colvin's contribution to the acting world became more apparent after his passing, as tributes highlighted his dedication to teaching and preserving classic performance techniques. His death also underscored a broader truth about character actors of his era. They were the backbone of storytelling, bringing depth and credibility to the worlds audiences loved. Colvin's portrayal of McGee, a man obsessed with uncovering the truth, mirrored a cultural shift in the late 1970s and early 1980s, when journalism was increasingly portrayed as both noble and intrusive. His character tapped into public anxieties about exposure, privacy, and the price of truth in a changing media landscape. The legacy of Jack Colvin grew subtly but steadily after his passing. Film scholars revisited his work, noting the sophistication he brought to roles that might otherwise have felt one-dimensional. His students carried forward his methods, keeping his influence alive in classrooms and rehearsal spaces. In this way, Colvin became part of a lineage rather than a headline, a reminder that cultural impact often flows quietly through mentorship and craft. Reflecting on his life and death reveals much about how we honor figures who shape artistic traditions. We immortalize them not only through the characters they played, but through the techniques, memories, and stories passed down in the creative communities they helped build.